In this video, I'm going to be comparing Nutjob 1 and 2 to Daddy Daycare as well as the sequel, Daddy Day Camp. I've seen the movie Daddy Daycare. I haven't seen either Nutjob movie. When it comes to the highest score for each franchise, oh man, all four of these movies have a pretty low score. I mean, for Daddy Daycare, the highest score is only 27% for the first movie. Yikes. And with Nutjob, the highest score is only a 15% for the second movie. Then when you look at lowest score, ooh, yikes, Daddy Day Camp only has a 1%. With Nutjob, the first movie only has a 14%. Once again, Daddy Daycare wins. And then when you look at average score, Nutjob, the average is 14.5, but with Daddy Daycare, the average is only 14. So by literally only zero point 0.5, Nutjob wins here. Then when you look at gap between lowest and highest score, you have a gap of only 1 with Nutjob, whereas you have a gap of only 26 between Daddy Daycare and Daddy Day Camp. So Nutjob does win here, meaning that it's won 2 of the rounds while Daddy Daycare has won 2 of the rounds. So we are tied heading into the final round where we're going to look at my personal opinion. This one is not hard for me at all. It's pretty simple. I would definitely say that I prefer Daddy Daycare. It's a movie that I've always had fun with. It's certainly more juvenile. That is true. Though it's not a great movie. Wouldn't say it's fantastic. But I enjoy it overall. I like they have this guy played by Eddie Murphy who's working for this company that creates food products. Specifically, Eddie Murphy's character is in charge at the beginning of this health food division. So he's trying to sell to kids this healthy kind of cereal. We see they're really not enjoying it at all. Things get pretty out of hand there. And Eddie Murphy's character is fired from this company. He's trying to find new work. Meanwhile, Kim and his wife's son, who's young, is going to school. The two of them at first send well, at first they're just looking at this expensive daycare institute called Chapman Academy, which is this really fancy school that's trying to teach all this more adult stuff to kids. Yeah, the headmaster that's really, really uptight. And the two parents are like, wait, we can't send our child named Ben to Chapman because it's so expensive. We couldn't possibly afford it. We got to find some other option. So Eddie Murphy's character is like, wait, I'll start my own daycare. So then we see him and this friend of his try to start their own daycare. They, of course, face obstacles, but they ultimately end up being able to get Daddy Daycare started up. So we see them going through the process of trying to actually run this thing well, trying to figure out how to both do things that are maybe a bit educational, but also fun for the kids. And also have the right food offered to them. At first, they're like, yeah, let's just give the kids all this sugary food. And then they're like, oh, no, 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 we can't do that because if they have a sugar high, they'll wreck the whole house and then they'll fall asleep. So they're like, no, we got to offer healthy food. And at least one of the kids has an issue with going to the bathroom that ends up being resolved by the end of the movie. I think there's good moments of humor in there. You also have this guy who is more nerdy that's really into Star Trek, and then he meets this girl who seems to like him. That's something I enjoy. I haven't seen Teddy Daycare, but not interested in it. I know really nothing at all about Nutjob, so I can't say anything about these movies. That'll wrap things up for this video. I mean, I like the acting in Daddy Daycare. I think it's all pretty good. I give a story here that makes sense. There aren't like any plot holes I can think of or major contrivances, conveniences. It's just one of those things where if you just in general don't like Eddie Murphy, then you're not gonna like this movie. as much. It's certainly a more simple story. It's not particularly complex, not all that deep. It's just trying to be a fun time. I think it does succeed at that, even if it can be certainly juvenile. But yeah, that'll be it for this one.